So the height of my coffee cup is 12. And if I measure out, let's say 8 centimeters, so we're going to make this 8. Then to close that off with a diagonal, I need 14.3 centimeters. So we're going to say this is 14.3. So you guys tell me how I need to find those angles. What do I have to do? I know the 90. I know my angle I'm looking for. So what can I use to find that? What trig? Do I want to use sine? Do I want to use cosine? It does not. So we just need to pick one. Okay. And what do I need for cosine? Okay. So I need adjacent and hypotenuse. What's the adjacent side? 8. And what's the hypotenuse? So what do we get? $55.9. So if this angle is 55.9, what's this angle? Anybody? 34.1. Okay. What I want everybody to do is find something that you can measure. Okay. On the very next slide, slide 8, I want you to find something that you can measure, and I want you to label the triangle with those measurements. Okay. Then I'm going to go through and I'm going to give everybody your problems one at a time, and we're going to see if you got them right. Okay. So if you're at home, I want you to go get your ruler, find something. It can be your cell phone. It can be a calculator. It can be your Chromebook. It can be your desk. It can be your door. It can be anything you want. Doesn't matter to me. But I need you to find something that you can measure a right triangle. Measure the width, measure the height, and measure the diagonal. And then we're going to calculate and see if we can find the right angles. Okay, so you're going to do one problem, one slide, and then we're going to share information. If you are sitting in class, we've got lots of things that you can measure. I've got rulers here, and if you want to measure something really big, I've got some tape measures. So you need to come grab a ruler, then grab a tape measure. Here, my tape measure. And a big tape measure. I mean, you want a big tape measure? I do something big. You can measure the cardboard, you can measure the board, you can measure a whiteboard, you can measure your desk, you can measure anything you want, but you got to measure something. You can use centimeters or inches or feet. It does not matter. So again, on the very next Pear Deck slide, so slide 4, what I should see is your measurements for some kind of right triangle. What I should see is your measurements for some kind of right triangle. And then tell me what it is. What'd you measure?
I can't write on the paper.
You can't write on the pear deck?
We gotta turn this one into.
Can anybody write on the pear deck?
We gotta turn in this Google Slide.
So you're just doing it right now. So your grade is going to come from doing it right now. So you want to find your right triangle, label the sides. So I see a 15.5 and an 8 and a 6 and a 14.5 and a 12 and an 8 and a 7, 15, 16.
Yeah, I can't write it.
Can you type on it?
It shows me the first one. That's how you.
Did you go to it from Schoology or go to it from the chat?
I did both, and it's still doing the same thing.
Huh. Can you open the Google Slides and just write, like put text boxes on the Google Slides? I know that's a pain in the neck.
Yeah. What are we doing right now?
So right now you are measuring your own right triangle. So find something in the classroom that is a rectangle and measure the height, the length, and the width. And put it in the pear deck slide. Yeah. Mm-hmm. The angle you're looking for. The angle you're looking for. So we'll put the U-turns here again today. Once you've measured your sides, I want you to try to find the angles. Okay? So once you've measured the sides, I want you to try to find the angles. On slide 5, slide 8. Slide 8 in the pear deck. I think a lot of people measured the same thing. So once you've measured your things, your length, your width, and your diagonal, mark those on slide 8 in the pear deck, and then try to use the trig, sine, cosine, and tangent to find the angles. So the blue side is going to be the O, The green side is going to be the A, and the red side is going to be the H. Nice. So the first one I see, well, the one I did, see that. I did a sticky note. So it's 3 inches and 3 inches. I'm looking for this. So this is opposite and adjacent. I can give you a minute to do yours. Once I get about half the class with theirs done. Nice. Then we'll go over them. Nice. All right. Go to a clean slide, because all the slides are the same. Go to a clean slide. And let's do a 3 by 3. So I want you to mark 3 by 3. The opposite is 3 and the adjacent is 3. And I didn't measure the hypotenuse. So if all I give you is O and A, then what do I have to use? We got to use tangent because all I have is O and A, so I have to use tangent. So tangent of -1 is the O, which is 3, and the A, which is 3. O over A, which is 3 over 3. So in your calculator, real fast, tangent, inverse tangent of 3 over 3. What do you get for an angle? 45. This angle here is 45 degrees. And because the other acute angle has to add up to 90 degrees, that's also going to be 45 degrees. Right? So on another slide, you can put the 3 and the 3, and the 45 and the 45. We use tangent. So tangent inverse of 3 over 3 equals 45 degrees, okay? We're just going to use other people's examples to fill in the slides, okay? So you need to capture this information on one of those slides. And by doing that, hopefully we'll check yours. Because in my calculator, I put in tangent of -1 and 3 over 3. So tangent -1 and then 3 over 3, because those are the sides of the triangle. And I got 45 degrees.
I got in the turn. Well,
Do you have it in degree mode? So in your calculator, if you have a decimal, you have it in radians. Radians would give you 0.78. You want it in degree mode.
color figure.
So if you, what kind of calculator are you on? So there's a setting, it's in a different spot in every calculator, but you got to be in degree mode when you're doing trig. You'll use radians when you get to math analysis. Okay. So let's go look at another example. I saw a lot of people with 14.5, 15, and 7. So if I've got the three sides, 14.5, 15, and 7, which one is my hypotenuse? Which one has to be the hypotenuse? The 15, because that's the biggest side, right? So then, I don't know if this was the angle or not, but we'll make the 14.5 over here, and then the 7 down here. We just used tangent, so let's use something else. Do we want to use sine or cosine? Okay, let's use sine. For sine, what two sides do I need? We need opposite and hypotenuse. So which one's the opposite and which one's the hypotenuse?
7.
So the opposite side is through the center of the triangle to the opposite side. That says O, even though it's hard to read. So that's 14.5. And then the hypotenuse is always opposite the right angle. So that's the H, 15. So in my calculator, I'm going to do sine. And that's really, we say inverse sine, because it's got the -1 there, of 14.5 divided by 15, which is what? Anybody get an answer for the angle here? Inverse sine of 14.5 over 15 is going to give me how many degrees? You can put it in the chat if you don't want to yell it out. We can round it to the nearest whole degree. I think 75. So if our medium angle is 75, what's our tiny angle over here? 15. Perfect. So if that was your problem, you should have had 75 and 15. If it was not your problem, please write sine -1, 14.5 over 15 equals 75. Right? So those equal 75. Yeah. So I'm going to stop sharing right now. There is a digital pass now. Have you guys been told about the digital pass yet? So you have the capability to do this too, but I will do it. So we just put it into the computer and off you go. Oops. That's it?
Okay.
All right, so let's do another example. Is it starting to gel, guys? A little bit? Is it starting to make sense? So I had another one that was 12, 8, and 14. So if I have sides that are 12, 8, and 14, which one has to be the hypotenuse? The 14. Okay. And this looks like it's the medium angle. So I'm going to put the 12 across from it and the 4 here. Okay. We've done tangent. And we just did sine, right? Or did we just do cosine? We just did sine. So let's do cosine now. Okay, what do I need for cosine? adjacent and hypotenuse. So if the theta is my angle, which side is adjacent? That's the adjacent side. That, oh, I don't know why I wrote 4. Should be 8. And which one is the hypotenuse? 14. And then it's just a matter of the calculator, right? So cosine 8 over 14 gives me what? 55. And then because I know these two angles have to add up to 90, what's my smallest angle? $35. We're going to do one more, ladies and gentlemen. I know you're so excited. One more. Somebody want to volunteer their numbers? I have a whole bunch of numbers here. I'm looking for different ones. Got this one. That's almost the same. We had a lot of really similar things. How about if we do this one? I've got 16.5, 15.5, and 8. Where do I put those numbers? The only one that really matters. 16.5 is the hypotenuse. It's always the longest one. And then the other ones can go wherever we want. We've been putting the medium here and the small one here. This is very similar to what we just had. What do we want to do? Sine, cosine, or tangent? Because we've done one of each. Doesn't matter which one we do now. Tangent. Okay. And what do I put in the parentheses? And what is the opposite side of the theta?
15 goes on top. And 8.
Perfect. So what do we get? I know some of you have missed your calculator. This is your opportunity. So what is my angle here? So if that angle is 62.5, what is this other angle over here? Perfect. Okay. 27.5. The bell is going to ring in a couple of minutes. So let me